I'm still going to go with Cooper Flagg, who I think is sensational. Cooper does it all.
They buried Cooper before he even had a chance to breathe. They said the NBA would expose him. They said he wasn't built for this level. And for one night, it looked like they were right. Opening night was not just bad. It was brutal, 10 points, a 33-point loss, and across the floor, Victor Wembanyama dropped 40 like it was practice. No hesitation, no pressure, no mercy. Just a reminder of how far Cooper Flagg had to go. And that was all it took, one game. One game for the entire basketball world to flip on him. Bust, overrated, wrong number one pick. It spread fast, too fast. Because that is how this league works now. You do not get time. You do not get patience, you get judged immediately. Everything he built before that night. Gone. High school dominance, gone. Montverde dominance, gone. Duke success, gone. None of it mattered anymore. Because this was the NBA. And the NBA does not care about your story. It cares about your results. And right now, his results looked weak. The game looked faster than him. Every possession rushed, every move forced, every decision late. Defenders were not impressed. They were not intimidated. They saw a rookie. And they attacked him like one. He was not controlling the game anymore. He was reacting to it, trying to keep up, trying to survive. And the worst part, everyone could see it. Clips started circulating, missed shots, turnovers, bad reads, over and over again, with the same message attached to every clip. We told you. But if you have ever seen a player get written off this fast, you already know what comes next. So if you are the type that sees greatness before everyone else does, hit subscribe, because this is where the story changes, and it changes fast. But here is what nobody wanted to talk about. This was not just about him playing bad. This was about where he landed. Because he did not walk into a team. He walked into a collapse. The Dallas Mavericks had just lost everything. Luka Doncic, gone. The system, gone. The identity, gone. The stability, gone. Fans were furious. The locker room was unstable. The roster made no sense. This was not a rebuild. This was damage control. And somehow, they handed that situation to an 18-year-old rookie and told him to fix it. Think about that. No veteran to lean on. No system to plug into. No structure to guide him. Just pressure from day one. And then came the decision that made everything worse. Jason Kidd did not ease him in. He did not simplify his role. He gave him the ball every possession. He made him the point guard, not sometimes, not situationally, every single time down the floor. Now he was expected to read defenses, control tempo, create offense against grown men, elite defenders. From the first game of his career, no adjustment, no breathing room, just survive. Every possession felt heavy. Every mistake felt amplified. Every miss replayed, every turnover criticized. And the numbers started telling the same story the media was pushing. 13 points per game, low efficiency, a team sitting at 3-10, one of the worst starts in the league. And that was all the media needed. Bust, they said it louder now. Overhyped, system player, cannot create his own shot. And it kept building, because once a narrative starts, it feeds itself. Fans jumped in, social media exploded. Every mistake turned into content. Every bad play turned into proof. Proof that they were right. Meanwhile, other rookies were rising, putting up numbers, winning games, taking headlines, and Cooper Flagg fell behind fast. Even players from his own class started getting more respect, more attention, more belief. The same player who dominated every level before was now being talked about like a project, something unfinished, something exposed, something the NBA had already figured out. But there was one truth nobody wanted to admit. This situation was built for him to fail. A broken roster, a chaotic system, no leadership, no support. The youngest player in the league, being asked to carry a franchise that had just lost its identity. That is not development, that is survival. And most players in that position do not survive, they break. They lose confidence, they blame the system. They blame the pressure, they disappear. But Cooper Flagg did something different. He did not respond, he did not defend himself. He did not explain anything. He stayed silent, no interviews, no excuses, no reactions, just work. While the world kept talking, he kept watching, learning, adjusting. And something started to shift. Not in the box score, not in the headlines, but in him. The game was still fast, but he was not panicking anymore. The mistakes were still there, but they were different now. More controlled, more intentional. His body language changed. At first, he looked rushed. Then he looked focused. And then he looked calm. The hesitation disappeared. The fear disappeared, and in its place, something else showed up. Something colder, something more dangerous. Because the kid who looked overwhelmed was starting to figure it out. And once that happens in this league, everything changes. He stopped reacting and started controlling. That was the shift. It was subtle at first. When you could not see it in the stats. You could not hear it in the headlines. But if you were really watching, you felt it. The pace of the game did not slow down. He did. His reads got sharper. His movements got cleaner. His decisions got quicker. No more rushing, no more forcing. Now he was choosing when to attack, choosing when to pass, choosing when to take over. And that is when everything started to change. But to understand why he could make that adjustment, you have to go back, way back, to a place where none of this should have been possible. Newport, Maine, a town with barely 3,000 people. No bright lights, no national attention, no pipeline to the NBA. This is not where superstars come from. This is where talent gets overlooked. This is where dreams stay small. But Cooper Flagg was never built for that reality. At 14 years old, he was not just good, he was dominant, not in flashes, not in moments, every game. Over 20 points, double-digit rebounds, assists, steals, blocks. A freshman playing like a veteran, controlling games in ways most players twice his age could not even understand. And people started to notice, because this was different. This was not hype, this was control. He became the first freshman ever to win Maine Gatorade Player of the Year. And it was not close. Every time he stepped on the court, he dictated everything, the pace, the rhythm, the outcome. Too skilled, too aware, too complete, and that created a problem. Because staying there would slow him down. So he made a decision most players never make. He left, he reclassified, skipped a year, walked away from comfort, and stepped into pressure. Montverde Academy, one of the most elite basketball programs in the country. A place where talent gets exposed. A place where dominance gets tested. A place filled with future NBA players. This was supposed to humble him. It did not. He did not struggle. He did not hesitate. He took over. Game after game, possession after possession. By 15, he was already one of the best players in the program. By 17, there was no debate left. USA Basketball Player of the Year, National Player of the Year, a perfect season, 34 wins, 0 losses, a national championship, every level he touched. He did not rise to it. He destroyed it, and still, it felt like something bigger was coming. Like all of this was just preparation. And then came the moment that changed everything. 17 years old, still in high school, and somehow he was in a gym with players he was not supposed to be around. Team USA, not prospects, legends. LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, Anthony Davis, the best players in the world. And in the middle of them, a kid from Maine. This was supposed to be overwhelming. This was supposed to be too big. This was supposed to be a learning experience. It was not. He attacked. Every possession, no hesitation, no fear. He went right at Anthony Davis, finished through contact, created plays, made reads, not backing down, not overthinking, competing like he belonged. And something shifted in that gym. You could feel it, because the best players in the world saw it. This was not normal. This was not just talent. This was presence. This was control. This was inevitability. That moment did not introduce Cooper Flagg. It warned the league. The future was not coming. It was already here. And then came Duke, the biggest stage in college basketball. The pressure increased. The expectations exploded. Every game watched. Every move analyzed. And still, he delivered. 19 points per game. 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Impact on both ends. Controlling tempo. Making the right play. Reading the game at a level most players never reach. A CC Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, in the same season. And when the lights got brighter, he got better. Leading Duke to the Final Four. Against the best competition, under the most pressure. And nothing changed. No fear. No hesitation. No drop-off at that point. There were no questions left. No debate. No doubt. He was the #1 pick. And it was not even close. The most complete prospect in years. A player who could score, pass, defend, control the entire game. The kind of player you build a franchise around. The kind of player you bet your future on. And that is exactly what Dallas did. But what he walked into was not opportunity, it was chaos. And that chaos almost broke him. But if you are still watching right now, then you need to understand something. Everything you have seen so far, the failure, the doubt, the pressure, that was not the story. That was the setup, because what came next was not improvement. It was not development. It was something else entirely. And once it started, there was no stopping it. And if you think this is just another overhyped rookie story, you are about to be very wrong. So stay with me, because what happens next is where everything changes. December. That is when it happened. Not slowly, not gradually, all at once. Utah Jazz, 42 points. Not just a big game, history. The youngest player in NBA history to drop 40 or more. At 18 years old, against real defenders. Against real pressure, and just like that, the record was gone. A record that stood for over 2 decades. Held by LeBron James, erased by the same kid people were calling a bust just weeks earlier. Think about that. From bust to history. In a matter of nights. And it did not stop. Because that is what made this different. This was not a hot streak. This was not luck. This was a shift. A takeover. A few nights later. Denver Nuggets, 33 points. 9 rebounds, 9 assists, efficient. Controlled, complete, no forcing, no panic. Just control. Then came Christmas. The biggest regular season stage in the NBA. The lights, the pressure, the spotlight. And he delivered again. 27 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Only the 3rd rookie ever to do that on Christmas Day. Legends, now his name next to theirs. And just like that, everything flipped. The same timelines that doubted him, now posting his highlights. The same analysts who criticized him, now praising him. the same fans who wrote him off. Now watching every game, he went from question mark to problem. And the most dangerous part, he was not slowing down, because this did not feel temporary. It felt inevitable, and January proved it. Charlotte, 49 points, 20 of 29 shooting, 10 rebounds. The most points ever scored by a teenager in NBA history. Not just a performance, a statement. Every move had purpose. Every possession felt controlled. It did not look like he was trying to score. It looked like he was choosing when to. And that is when things got uncomfortable. Because on that same night, another rookie had a breakout game. 34 points, a huge performance. A headline performance. But it did not matter. Because Cooper Flagg made it feel small. He did not just outplay him. He erased him, controlled the entire game. And then came Boston, one of the best defensive teams in the league. The kind of team that exposes young players. The kind of team that forces mistakes. The kind of team that slows you down. He did not slow down. 36 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists against elite defenders. Against real pressure, no hesitation, no fear. And with that performance, he made history again. The first teenager ever to score 30 or more points in 3 straight games, then 4. The youngest player to ever do that. And now the conversation changed. Because this was not impressive anymore. This was expected. Every game, another record, another milestone, another reminder. This was not normal. This was takeover. And that is when the comparison started. Not to other rookies, not to young players. To history, LeBron James, his rookie numbers. 20.4 points, 6.6 rebounds, 4.1 assists. Now look at Flagg. 20.9, 5.5, 5.9, almost identical. But here is where it gets dangerous. Efficiency, Flagg shooting nearly 50%. LeBron was at 41, and Flagg is doing it. Younger, a full year younger. That is when the narrative shifted again. Analysts sort of stopped arguing. They started acknowledging. We have seen this before, once, and that is a problem. Because when a player stops being compared to players and starts being compared to history, everything changes, the expectations change, the pressure changes, the conversation changes. But even that still did not explain the real problem. Because what made Cooper Flagg different was not just what he did with the ball, it was what he did without it. Defense, that is where things got scary. Defense, that is where everything changed. Because most rookies, they get hunted, they get targeted, they get exposed. They need time, they need years to learn positioning, to understand timing, to build discipline, not him. He walked into the league ready to guard anyone, one possession. He is sliding with a point guard on the perimeter, cutting off angles, forcing bad shots, next possession. He is rotating from the weak side, timing it perfectly, erasing a shot at the rim, not contesting, erasing, and then immediately. He is pushing the ball the other way, turning defense into offense in seconds. That kind of versatility is rare. That kind of awareness is elite. And that kind of impact changes everything, because now there is no weak spot. You cannot isolate him. You cannot attack him. You cannot hide from him. Double him. He finds the open man. Play him one-on-one. Good luck. There is no safe matchup, no simple strategy. And that is what makes him dangerous. Because he is not just a scorer. He is not just a playmaker. He is not just a defender. He is all of it. At the same time, at this age, and the league started to realize something they did not expect. This was not supposed to happen yet. Not this fast, not this early, because they thought they already had the future. They thought the timeline was set. They thought the next face of the league was already decided. Victor Wembanyama, 7'4", unreal length, unreal skill. A player that did not make sense physically. The plan was simple. The future runs through him. That was the narrative. That was the expectation. And then Cooper Flagg showed up and refused to follow it. Their matchups felt different immediately. Not just another game, not just another rookie battle. This felt bigger, faster, more intense, more personal. 2 young stars going at each other, possession after possession, testing each other, pushing each other, refusing to back down. February, another matchup, another statement. Flagg, 32 points, Wembanyama, 29. The Spurs won the game. But that was not the story, because the message was clear. He belongs here, not in the future, right now. And just like that, the league had something it did not expect. A rivalry, the kind of rivalry that defines eras. Magic and Bird, LeBron and KD. Now Wembanyama and Flagg, 2 timelines, colliding, 2 futures, fighting for the same throne. And that is what makes this even more dangerous. Because this is not just about talent, it is about evolution. Because while all of this is happening, he is still improving, still learning, still adjusting his shooting early in the season. A weakness, around 23% from 3. Defenders left him open, dared him to shoot. And then something changed, again. After turning 19, the shots started falling. Confidence rising, mechanics tightening, results following. The same pattern, over and over again. He figures it out. He always figures it out. And once he does, it does not go backwards. His drives, over 12 per game, elite guard territory. And he is finishing at the rim, around 60% through contact, through length, through pressure as a rookie. And that number is only going to rise because he is going to get stronger, faster, smarter. And then there is the decision that once looked like a mistake, playing him at point guard. At first, it looked like chaos. Turnovers, bad reads, too much responsibility. But now, it looks like development. Because he sees the game differently, processes faster, reads defenses earlier, finds angles. Others do not even see. He thinks like a guard, but moves like a forward, finishes like a forward, defends like a forward. That combination is not normal. That is a problem. That is a cheat code. And that is what makes this terrifying. Because the version of Cooper Flagg you are watching right now is not the final version, not even close. This is just the beginning. Because here is the part nobody wants to admit. This version of him, the one breaking records, the one dominating both ends, the one forcing the league to adjust. That version is the worst version you will ever see. Let that sink in. The one doing all of this is still incomplete, still growing, still evolving. And that is what makes this dangerous. Because when a player is already this good, before reaching his peak, there is no ceiling, only acceleration. And that is when it stops being exciting and starts becoming a problem. Because now, it is not about potential anymore. It is not about what he could be. It is about what he already is, a force. A presence the league was not ready for this early. Every game he steps into, something shifts, the pace changes. The energy changes, defenses react differently. Coaches adjust, because they all know this is not normal. And the scariest part, he is not forcing it. He is not chasing stats. He is not hunting highlights. He is controlling the game, on his terms, at his speed. And when a player reaches that level, it becomes inevitable, because now, the game is not happening to him. He is deciding how it happens. That is when dominance becomes real. That is when greatness starts to lock in. And the league can feel it, because something is changing right in front of them. The timeline they thought was set is breaking. They thought the future already belonged to someone else. They thought the next era was already decided. But now, that certainty is gone, because Cooper Flagg did not wait his turn. He took it, and that changes everything, because the NBA does not stay the same. It evolves from one generation to the next, from one face to another. And those shifts, they do not happen slowly. They happen like this, in moments. Moments where one player steps forward and refuses to be denied. That is what this is. And now, the league is entering something new. A new era, a new rivalry, a new standard. Because when you have players like Victor Wembanyama and players like Cooper Flagg rising at the same time, you do not just get competition. You get history, the kind that defines generations, the kind people talk about for decades. And we are watching it. From the very beginning, a kid from Maine, population barely 3,000, no spotlight, no shortcuts, just work, just belief. And now, he is one step away from 1,000 career points. At 19 years old, already rewriting expectations, already breaking timelines, already forcing the league to adjust. And just when it feels like he's about to take another step, everything pauses, an injury, a moment of silence, a brief break, for the rest of the league to breathe. But not for long, because this does not stop here. It does not slow down. It does not fade. Players like this, they do not disappear, they take over. So, when he comes back, and he will, this continues, and there is nothing anyone can do to stop it. Because if you have made it this far, then you already understand you are not just watching highlights. You are not just watching a rookie. You are watching the beginning of something much bigger, something that will define the next era of basketball. And if you felt that shift too, if you saw it before everyone else did, then you are exactly where you are supposed to be. We appreciate you for staying all the way through, because that means you did not just watch the story, you understood it, and trust me, this is only the beginning.